Okay, guys. Today we are having more Roblox. Today's gonna be even funner because today we are playing.
At this moment, everybody, regardless of their view of Trump, should be wishing him
Redwood Prison.
the very best of luck. Because at the end of
I'll play the game.
if this goes well, if trust is built, if there is a rapport of some kind between the two,
That's what it's
it's not about whether Trump wins. It's not about whether Kim wins.
This is now.
Whether the world wins.
Whoa.
I'm not reading European media every day. You, of course, are marinating in it. But in the coverage of the G7, and of course the
It's also
between
cute.
President
Dude,
Trump
this is even more better than last time.
Note that Angela Merkel destroyed Europe, and that should be held accountable for that. Trump is terrible.
No, it's all Trump is terrible, and nobody dares criticize Angela. But you may have noticed in the last 48 hours, the new Italian government have turned back boats coming across from Libya, people being trafficked, across the Mediterranean. It's been going on now for some years. Thousands of people have drowned. Places like Italy are flooded with 500,000 illegal immigrants that are there. And the days of Merkel are numbered, and that's what G7 said to me.
But so why, it's interesting you said nobody dares criticize Merkel. It's hard to think of a more destructive leader in modern European history. Why would people not feel they could criticize her?
Yes.
Because the European project has been all about solidarity, which means we all agree on everything. We're all nice to
I want to be a police now.
I'm actually very grateful to Angela Merkel.
I don't know what you can do as a police.
The way that she did, without being able to security check a single person, was a major contributory factor to Brexit.
It's a security cam,
for the rest of my
so I could go to oh yeah,
that's a good point.
It's like the entrance of the jail, so I can go W.
Or outside of Great Britain. Note that is that sort of commonly understood that she's unleashed forces that our grandchildren.
Got the alligator.
Oh, very much so. I mean, Viktor Orban, who very recently won the elections in Hungary with a massive majority in Parliament. Viktor Orban said, "We will make our decisions in Hungary about who comes to live here.
Check the courtyard.
Pay the price for Mrs. Merkel's mistakes," and that was a major factor
the lobby.
in Hungary. And if you listen to what Matteo Salvini, the leader of the
Group of them.
the party, very much in the ascendancy there at the moment, again he says, we're not going to live in a Europe where the Germans make the big decisions that affect our lives. So actually, you can see this show of solidarity with Macron, with Mrs. May, the increasingly weak British Prime Minister. These big displays, but the reality is that politics in Europe is changing, and that Mrs. Merkel has done more to wake people up to the risks of uncontrolled immigration than anybody in history.
That's a very good point. We're at the end of something, at the beginning of something new.
Yes.
Thank you, as always. Great to see you. Before traveling to Singapore for the North Korean summit, the president made a stop in Canada for a meeting of the G7. While he was there, he struck an adversarial posture on trade matters, much to the annoyance of the German Chancellor Angela Merkel and the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Press, of course, would never dare root for America or an American in an international dispute.
It should be good there.
So they quickly condemned the president's behavior. They warned he may have hurt the feelings of the other leaders who were apparently very fragile. Watch.
Donald Trump has insulted Justin Trudeau of Canada, called him weak, attacking our allies, sort of ridiculing them.
It's an extraordinary photo, and it doesn't make President Trump look very good, and that may be one reason why he's lashing out at Germany now.
Insulting Germany, insulting Justin Trudeau, calling him by first names, by the way, too, which is sort of undiplomatic.
I don't know if he is threatened by Justin Trudeau being younger.
On an assault rifle. They have an assault rifle.
Like it went in the trash or against the trash.
Richard, good to see you.
It almost sounded like it went in it.
Wait.
Campaigns, he joins us now. Richard, by the way, I should tell our viewers that one of the things we saw passing.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad you got that.
So thanks all for coming on tonight. So the president tweeted out that Canada erects massive tariffs against American dairy, among other things. 270% on milk, turns out it's almost 300% on butter. That's true. And so why would it be somehow wrong for an American president to stand up for an American industry in an international meeting?
Right. You know, I've been listening to your coverage all night, of course. And,
that was a tilt, but sorry guys, sorry.
Up is down and
Dude,
down is
I
up.
love
No
okay,
for a meeting like this one.
I just love doing Roblox gameplays. This is fun. It's really happy.
Look, it only makes sense, Tucker, to criticize our allies and elevate dictators like Putin, or even now to call Kim Jong-un an honorable man. This is crazy, right? And to walk away 2 hours after he said, I'm committed to something, to say, I don't want to do it. That's not how the United States can conduct ourselves and have anybody, friend or foe alike, believe what we say.
So here's what, look, here's what I think the president does understand, and I agree with him. He's not a detail man. But he understands that leaders act in their own interest. They don't act out of pique or hurt feelings. They act out of what they think is good for them and the countries they lead. And so if we can just go back very quickly to the G7, then I do want to address what you said about North Korea. Why did it infuriate American liberals when the president stood up for American interests? And of course the answer is because they don't like America. But I want to hear your version of that answer.
Yeah, of course.
What?
Look, it infuriated.
I didn't poop.
Not just liberals, everything they say. There are, if you gave a truth serum to every Republican in the Senate and House, a huge percentage of them would say they're embarrassed.
Yeah, all
to
go.
have a president of the United States call our allies the kind of names.
But that means nothing to me. You always think it's because I don't care what some politician thinks. I'm interested in the principle, and that is, why is it wrong for an American leader to stand up for American interests? There are, despite NAFTA, enormous tariffs against certain American exports. That's what we have a trade deficit with Canada.
You should stand up for American interests.
The president said that, and American liberals are like, oh, you're being mean to Justin Trudeau. He's so hunky. Stop.
Yeah. No, where people, again, it's not just liberals, what they reacted to is Justin Trudeau said before that press conference at the end of the G7, and he did afterwards, that he too was going to stand up and retaliate against these unfair tariffs on aluminum and steel, right? That's all he said. So somehow that became the thing that Trump was going to, kind of put his pick in the ground about and walk away from the very deal that he agreed to hours before. If the United States president can't be trusted to stand by his word, what then? I mean, how in the world can Jim...
Really? Because we've had... Wait, hold on, slow down. We've had a succession of presidents for my entire lifetime. Almost all of whom were well respected and sort of, all the chin tugger stuff, they were great people. And they allowed this country to get shafted. They allowed China into the WTO and lost millions of American jobs. Millions. We've never recovered from that. We have not recovered.
No.
And yet the people who did that, George W. Bush and Bill Clinton, are considered heroes and statesmen. I'm sort of not, I'm confused by the standards by which you're judging leaders. Shouldn't we judge leaders by how they do for their people?
Yeah, of course. Look, we've lost most of the jobs we've lost to automation. Same reason we've lost coal industry jobs.
That's not true.
Well, I'm not. Look,
that's not true. We lost the entrance into the WTO, destroyed American manufacturing.
Yeah, I think China has not lived up to its commitments to the WTO. There will be no dispute from me or frankly most other people about whether China.
But nobody says anything about it, and all that Morning Joe is totally cool with that. As long as you just sort of let it happen and don't make a fuss, it's totally fine. You're one of us. You probably are on the CFR. But the second somebody says anything about it, oh, you're totally irresponsible. Why shouldn't an American leader stand up for America? Really simple question.
The problem is they should, but China, the problem as regards, say, aluminum and steel, not Canada. That's the problem, and not Japan and not France. And yet, the president seems perfectly hunky-dory to look the other way when it comes to ZTE and these Chinese behemoths that are basically insinuating themselves into U.S. technology, and somehow or other it's Canada, that becomes the enemy as regards trade. We've got stuff moving back and forth.
Look, I don't think Canada is the enemy. I just think it's an acknowledgement that each country has its own set of interests, and it pursues those. And in some cases, it's different from ours, and we should push back. Let me ask you, though, of course, the press, being stupid, reduces everything to the personal. So Trudeau is mad at Trump, Trump is mad at Trudeau. At this exact moment, the president of South Africa, who is an open and avowed racist, who has pledged to take people's land away based on their skin color, I think you agree that meets the definition of racism, was with Trudeau, and Trudeau issued this long statement about how great he is. Ramaphosa, you're fantastic, wonderful to have you here. Do you find it a little striking that the president of South Africa is accorded more respect than our own, not just by Trudeau, but by American liberals? Do you think it's weird?
That is weird. What's weirder is having the United States president stand up for Russia after they invade Crimea, after they engage in war crimes, after they meddle in the U.S. elections to help him, that they want to elevate the Russians, an economy that's as small as Spain, to the G7. As it was said in some of these tweets over the weekend, Angela Merkel looking at Trump and seeming to say, what does Putin have on you? We can help you. Just let us know. Because that's the only explanation
on you. Do you think, I mean, Russia, why is Russia, and this is a sincere question, at the center of the liberal mind? If you consider all the countries around the world that are murdering minority groups within their borders, invading other countries, posing a nuclear threat to our country, exporting terror, Russia is not even close to the top of the list of threats to the United States. And yet, in the view of liberals, it's all about Russia. I mean, I honestly think it's a psychiatric disorder, but maybe there's another explanation.
Well, unless you can include Donald Trump as the liberal mind, he's the one who's talking about bringing Russia back into the G7. He's the one who's talking about...
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Because Russia violated human rights abroad? Is that what you're saying? Like, when he's meeting with the president of North Korea, speaking of human rights violations, who maintains gulags where hundreds of thousands of families languish and die, but we're meeting with him anyway, why don't you want to meet with your opponents, with your adversaries?
Oh, guys, I haven't been talking.
And then bringing Russia into the G7?
Not pop.
Immoral for some reason?
This recording.
Well, remember, it used to be the G8. Russia was in it until it attacked another country.
Until recently.
Right, until it basically took over territory.
Around the world every day.
Well, the fact is, we don't. We basically.
Really? Because China invaded Tibet, and China is rallying Muslims right now and putting them in concentration camps, but we put them in the WTO and allowed them to destroy our economy.
Right.
Half the population of Washington, D.C. takes money from them. As you know, every think tank, every lobbying organization, all take money from the communist government of China, which is invading its neighbors, oppressing minority groups, and nobody says anything about it, and spying on us. Why do you think that is? Why doesn't anybody say anything?
I think we should. I think China should be called out for every transgression it engages in. It just seems
so
weird.
How about anyone in D.C. taking Chinese money? Should they be indicted? I mean, don't you think? I mean, given what they're doing?
You asked what was weird and what was in the liberal mind, and I'm saying is for Donald Trump to stand up time after time for Russia seems bizarre, unexplainable, but for the fact that there's something...
I mean, honestly, who cares? By the way, you're single-handedly making me pro-Russia. I was ambivalent on the subject at first, and now I'm like, they must be pretty great if the left hates them this much. I try not to let myself down that path.
I don't think it's just
No, it's a holdover. Low IQ Republicans in D.C. feel the same way. I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
But it's just so different. The reality of the modern world, where Russia again is not even in the top tier of threats to the United States. It's almost as if liberals are intentionally moving attention away from the real threats to an irrelevant place like Russia.
Here's a real threat.
Could that be?
Here's a real threat.
Oh no, it is on.
Is a very real threat.
Nothing.
And the Republicans, the Democrats, and the Senate Intelligence Committee, well, the Senate Intelligence Committee, in a bipartisan way, said the Russians meddled.
Can anyone comment below, please? Just anyone. Say anything.
Let me ask you,
anything.
Sincerely, do you think
anything, and I won't kill.
Did more to undermine the legitimacy of our elections than those politicians who argued against voter ID?
Can someone comment?
Which make it impossible to detect voter fraud, which is widespread. And they systematically abet voter fraud. So do you think Russia, Vladimir Putin, or the ACLU has further undermined the sanctity of our elections?
So I said we had a rank order.
Okay, this is good. I have one viewer. Okay.
I think those three are probably pretty high on the
okay,
list.
Can someone leave a like, please?
Since you're asking me, yes.
Oh no. We have a person on the other side of the gate.
There wouldn't be billions of dollars spent on ads on Fox News if somebody out there didn't think that...
And there's a person on the roof I want to kill.
And that's exactly what the Russians did, reaching through Facebook 126
million, only 135 people never would. I think you're onto something here. People never would have voted for Trump unless Vladimir Putin told them to. And
who just said jailbreak is better? Oh. Got it.
I think that's exactly it. Great to see you. We're going to take a quick break. The summit is, I'm looking at the ticker there, about 23 minutes from now. We'll be back in just a minute and take you all the way to the historic meeting.
He get shot one more time. He dead.
And Kim Jong-un of North Korea. It's never happened before.
How did I get that?
We'll cover it live for you on Fox.
Hey, we didn't have a homeowner's claim last year, so Allstate's giving us money back on our bill.
Seems fair. Didn't use it.
We should have money back on gym memberships.
Get money back
Hilarious.
with claim-free rewards.
There was that one dude
It's worth it.
that was talking about that's on the roof that's trying to get people. Come out, you die. Oh, I'm gonna reload ammo real quick. I got to. We gotta go up there before he kills everyone.
So you can feel fresh and free to get as close as you want. All day and now, all night.
Oh, I'm losing him.
What did I mean? Essential for the cactus, but maybe not for people with rheumatoid arthritis, because there are options. Like an injection, Xeljanz XR, a once-daily pill for adults with moderate to severe RA for whom methotrexate did not work well enough. Xeljanz XR can reduce pain, swelling, and further joint damage.
I'm going up there.
Xeljanz XR can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis.
I have to. It's the only thing that's gonna work. Oh, whoa! We have prisoners up there.
Don't start Xeljanz XR
Okay,
infection, tears in the stomach or intestines, low blood cell counts, and higher liver tests and cholesterol levels have happened. Your doctor should perform blood tests before you start and while taking Xeljanz XR and monitor certain liver tests. Tell your doctor if you're in a region
Okay, I have no one.
and if you have had TB, hepatitis B or C, or are prone to infections. Needles, fine for some things, but for you, one pill a day may provide symptom relief. Ask your doctor about Xeljanz XR, an injection.
If your moderate to severe ulcerative colitis or Crohn's symptoms are holding you back, and your current treatment hasn't worked well enough, it may be time for a change. Ask your doctor about Entyvio, the only biologic developed and approved just for UC and Crohn's. Entyvio works at the site of inflammation in the GI tract and is clinically proven to help many patients achieve both symptom relief and remission. Infusion and serious allergic reactions can happen during or after treatment. Entyvio may increase risk of infection, which can be serious. PML, a rare, serious, potentially fatal brain infection caused by a virus, may be possible. This condition has not been reported with Entyvio. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, experience frequent infections, or have flu-like symptoms.
I have to get the roof.
Can occur with Entyvio. If your UC or Crohn's treatment isn't working for you, ask your gastroenterologist about Entyvio. Entyvio.
Yep, I have to get to the roof. That's what I gotta do. I'm getting to the roof. That's what I have to do. The only way to get that dude is getting to the roof, which I have no idea how. Has anyone played this game? Comment down, and I will be able to get up to the roof. Because I have whatsoever no idea how to get to the roof.
We offer free access to coaches and a full education curriculum just to help you improve your skills.
Boom! Man, skills.
Education to take your trading to the next level. Only with TD Ameritrade.
Hold on. I'm not trying to get clickbait in this video. If anyone watches this. Okay, I think it's the cell block that helps us. Oh, it's right here. It's probably right here.
We need you to go in and clean up the mess.
They have something on you.
Doesn't have. I'll be able to get up there and get him. I'm gonna have to. Okay, this is really good because he should be lounging out up there.
I knew I should take CoQ10 with it. I take Qnol CoQ10. Why?
Yeah, he's gonna be lounging up there. It's gonna be really good because he's gonna be lounging up there because he's trying not to be shot. That's what he's trying to do.
Welcome back. We've got a Fox News alert for you. The
That's exactly what he's trying.
From Singapore, that Larry Kudlow, who's 70, director of the National Economic Council, apparently, according to the president, has had a heart attack. and is at Walter Reed Medical Center receiving treatment at this hour. That's all
There we go. That's a roof entrance,
we'll tell
isn't
you
it?
right away.
Oh, is that someone?
Brett Baer,
That has
Anchor
to be
Central Report, and our
someone.
friend is on the scene live in Singapore for us. Hey, Brett, what's going on there?
Well, Tucker, I mean, that was just a real surprise to have the president issue a tweet or send out a tweet with breaking news about Larry Kudlow, and obviously the prayers for him. He's at Walter Reed, we're told by the president, don't have any more information. What's happening here is we're moments away from the greeting between President Trump and Kim Jong-un at this Capella resort on this island that's kind of separated from downtown Singapore. Both motorcades have arrived, and we're just waiting for any moment the host TV to put out this shot, and there you see it. President Trump, we're told, will come from the right side, and Kim Jong-un from the left, and there will be a handshake, which will be probably the most photographed in the world. As you're looking at a picture of Larry Kudlow, still trying to get some information about his status.
The fact that the President of the United States is meeting with Kim Jong-un, the hereditary dictator of North Korea, is really something that nobody would have predicted, 3 months ago. What are some people saying to you about this? Are they shocked by it, exhilarated by it? I hope
Well, they're exhilarated by it. They have expectations, but high expectations for this first meeting. It sounds more and more as days go on that there may be more meetings, judging by their early meetings with the North Koreans setting this up. I don't think anybody inside or outside the administration thinks that Kim Jong-un is suddenly going to drop everything to get American investment inside North Korea, but it could begin a process where they have seen indications that he is willing to at least talk about it. He really wants this photograph, Tucker. This is Kim Jong-un. President Trump wants concrete results, and the question is whether giving the photograph is going to lead you to the results that you want. It is.
I have no one on right now. I did have someone.
I don't know if you can see the pictures of apparently the room.
I think his name was like Andrew something.
DPRK flags, North Korean flags, next to American flags, something I don't think anyone's ever seen before.
I'm at the security. Oh, so I can tell we already have someone up there because we're shooting.
Well, there's a 45-minute meeting. It's a kind of
high-class
resort. It's separated from downtown Singapore. Very high security all around here. And the two leaders will come in, they will shake hands, then they will go into a room with just their translators. We're told that it's going to last 45 minutes, but there's really no stopwatch. They will talk until they finish talking, and then it'll be opened up to other people inside the room, inside the administration, on the U.S. side and the North Korean side. In that room will be Secretary of State Pompeo, the National Security Advisor John Bolton, the White House Chief of Staff John Kelly, and a few others, and then that will continue until a working lunch later on in the day.
No joint press conference, I assume.
Not a joint press conference, but we're told that the president's going to have a press conference or answer questions from the media, have a statement at 4 p.m. this time, 4 a.m. U.S. East Coast time, and then is expected to depart. Now, the White House is careful to say if things are moving and we need to stay, the whole departure is going to be changed. But right now, scheduled to talk to the press, talk to Sean Hannity, in an interview, and then leave on Air Force One.
Quite a moment. We're watching history. And we're there. Congrats. Brett Baer, thank you.
Thanks, Tucker.
I want to bring in Dr. Michael Pillsbury, not an overstatement to say one of the world's great experts on China. Dr. Pillsbury, thanks a lot for coming on. What's China's role in bringing about this summit, and why?
Well, China's played a role because of pressure. Operation, very carefully scripted, of maximum pressure through the United Nations. He needed
That's kind of a really sucky game.
Those resolutions. They
but I know what game we can play.
Really changed their approach. They used to be
you know how much
or even mildly embarrassed, let's say.
Sometimes
what's begun to happen more recently is to please
none
Trump, and because
no
of his
YouTubers do this crap.
in various ways,
that to the side.
they then pressured according to Trump's plan and his request, the Chinese then pressured North Korea, not just the sanctions, but when President Trump and his team began to talk about the use of force in very limited military strikes
No
on
YouTubers do
nuclear
this.
facilities up in the north of North Korea. China did not really take a stand against that. They gave the impression to the North Koreans that they might just stand by and let a military strike be performed on North Korea. The third thing that China
a live thing I'm doing right now.
But they've been trying for more than a decade to soften up the hardline Stalinist policies toward the economy in North Korea. They tried to show North Korean teams of economists this we China did it. We're almost surpassing America today in our economy. We used to be poor like you. You could do this. And they've shown them the Chinese model in great detail. And that's had an impact. I think that's one of these three factors all together. The pressure sanctions has crippled the economy, the threats of military force, and then the Chinese say, look, you could be rich like us. Those three together have brought Chairman Kim to Singapore. So we owe China quite a bit, and they didn't make this happen completely.
Make sure to check out
they could have
all
done
my
something
videos.
very different and protected North Korea, said don't talk to this man. You know, it may have been a real problem for us. They weren't.
And hit that like bell and see
I can't get over the fact
all
there's such a thing as
later.
a North Korean economist. I didn't know there was a category like that. So
wait, no. The one viewer I have,
no, he did. A lot of them.
I want
you. China has,
can you leave a like saying I'm watching this video right now?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Why would North Korea
say I'm watching this video right now? That's all I want you to say. Say I'm watching this video right now.
Such a cliffhanger around the world is we haven't really heard from young Chairman Kim yet. If he wants to accept what the deal that's being offered to him now for several months of talks in the secret channels, if he wants to accept the offer, we will make you rich. We will really help investment, trade, and everything in North Korea. We'll find out within a few hours, I think. If he doesn't want to accept the offer, then he probably doesn't want to give up his nuclear weapons either. And we're looking at a possible walkout, politely, as President Trump says, a polite walkout taking place in the next few hours. So I think it's for good reason. This is a cliffhanger. We don't really know for sure.
Thank you for watching the stream. See you all later.